A lot of people mock guys who live like locals when they're in the Philippines, and they make comments and statements as to how they're cheap or how they can't afford anything because they're on some lowly pension, and they pat themselves on the back as though they're high and mighty. I want to tell you a story about a boy from India who'd never had any shoes. This boy, he grew up his whole childhood, and he was always envious of people whose feet were covered in the fancy leather shoes, and he wished that he could just have a pair of shoes of his own that he could experience. One day he was walking past a secondhand shop and he saw a pair of shoes in the windows, and they were very, very beat up and in rough shape. But the boy saw the price and he thought he could afford it if he worked hard. So he went around gathering bottles and plastics to recycle. And after weeks and weeks and weeks of struggling and digging in garbage and everything, he was finally able to have enough money to buy those shoes. So he went in with his money to the store and he bought the shoes and took them home and fixed them up with some duct tape and cleaned them, and was able to wear the shoes. They were a little bit too big for him, but he didn't care. He worked so hard to get them, and he was so proud. And he wore those shoes around, and all the kids in his neighborhood who also didn't have any shoes, they were amazed that this boy finally had his own pair of shoes. So one day he was out on the street, and another older teenager walked by and looked at his shoes and started mocking him and saying, "You're so poor, you can't even afford to buy a good pair of shoes. Look at your terrible, terrible shoes that you have with holes and duct tape and all these repairs." So the boy was crushed, and his once wonderful accomplishment turned into dust before his eyes. So he decided he was going to work even harder, and he was going to collect even more plastics and do odd jobs and anything that he could do to get his hands on more money. And he went back to the secondhand shop after he had some money, and he found a pair of shoes that were dirty and stained, but they had no holes. So he bought the shoes and he was so proud, and he put the shoes on his feet, and he knew that now nobody could make fun of him because his shoes didn't have any damage. So he wore them with pride and paraded around the streets admiring his new wonderful pair of shoes. And one day somebody came by and they said, "What is wrong with your shoes? They're so dirty and old. Can't you afford to get a new pair of shoes? What's the matter with you?" So the boy was crushed again, and he realized, I need to get a brand new pair of shoes. If I had a brand new pair of shoes, then nobody would mock me, and everybody would see how hard I worked, and they would admire my shoes. So the boy worked even more. He got somebody to hire him at a small restaurant where he did some manual labor. And after months, he was finally able to go to a store and buy a brand new pair of shoes. But all he could afford was an unknown brand. So he bought those shoes, and he was just excited. He was so happy that there would be no way anybody could mock him. His shoes were brand new. His shoes were not secondhand, no stains, no holes, no nothing. So he put those shoes on and he was ecstatic. He was happy. He was full of joy for the effort that he made to get these wonderful brand new pairs of shoes. So again, one day he's out on the street and a man comes by and he says, what shoes are those? I've never even seen that brand before. Can't you afford Nikes? Can't you afford Reeboks? What is the matter with you?" You're such a poor boy. And again, he was crushed. It seems that no matter what he could do or what he would buy, there's always going to be someone out there who disapproved. And this is similar to life. So in my situation, I'm content with what I have, and I'm very happy with it. And to have people come along and say, where's your condo? Where's your house? Where's your car? Where's your motorcycle? It's no different than those people that came along to the young boy and put him down for the effort that he made and the things that he was proud of and the things that made him so happy. In this video, you see Filipinos that are working with rock. They have no modern equipment. They're out there from sun up to sundown, 6 days a week, working for $4 or $5 a day in the hot, hot sun, busting rock with crowbars, shovels, and pickaxes, and filling up this dump truck full of crushed rock and hauling it to a construction site where they use the rock for foundations and houses. That's true hard work. We in the West, we are blessed with employment that has a 40-hour work week, 5 days a week, making $15+ an hour, where these guys are working 6 days a week, 12+ hours a day in the hot, hot sun with back-breaking work. And they're content. They're happy. They're just glad to be able to have income. And they're not out there comparing themselves to this person or that person or any person. So while you're sitting there on your high horse and you're snubbing your nose and thumbing other people's styles and life choices and the things that they do, take into consideration that there are different tiers, there are different levels to people's happiness. And not everything is going to be possible for everyone. And maybe they don't have a college degree. Maybe they don't have experience. Maybe they didn't have the leg up that you got. But people should not thumb their noses at others who are more than likely happy with their accomplishments. So think about what you have in your home country and how blessed you are to have the ability to get what you get, to have what you have. And stop being so critical of others who are probably happy and content with what they have and wouldn't even know the difference unless someone else came along and said something negative about the things that they do have. So thanks for watching, everyone. Keep in mind that there's always another step on the wrong. Even if you have $1 million, there's somebody who's got 2. There's somebody who has 5. So no matter what level you get to in life, there's always going to be someone better, someone more handsome, someone richer to come along and judge you for what you have. So guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all and have a blessed day.